Hello and welcome to SET. Probably many of us have heard about the organization called UNESCO, but what do they actually do? Well, today we can see a project of theirs in action called the world's largest lesson, since our school is among the partnering institutions. It takes place between the 30th of September and the 4th of October, and it's connected to the ESDW, the European Sustainable Development Week. In this episode, we had the pleasure and honor of talking to the Secretary General for the Hungarian National Commission for UNESCO, Gábor Soós. Now, let's hear the interview.
Good morning and welcome to our interview. Our first question is, for those who may not be familiar with it, could you please explain what the world's largest lesson is?
Well, the world's largest lesson is a fantastic global educational initiative that started in 2015 after the adoption of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, or global goals. And the aim is to introduce these goals to children and young people worldwide. The program is designed to inspire students to take action towards these goals, fostering awareness about issues like poverty, inequality, climate change. The project provides free and creative educational resources that help teachers integrate the SDGs, the global goals, into their lessons in engaging ways.
Our next question is, how do teachers and students take part in the lessons?
Well, the teachers can partake in the lesson by downloading free lesson plans, videos, comics and other resources from a web page that is called The World's Largest Lesson. These materials are available in 30 languages, of course including in Hungarian, and they are accessible globally. The resources are adaptable to different age groups, and educators can use them to teach students about the SDGs in formal or informal educational settings.
As for the history of this project, when did it start and what was its precedent?
Well, the immediate precedent of this initiative was the adoption by the United Nations of the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, and immediately after that it started the initiative of Project Everyone, UNICEF and UNESCO, the organization that I represent. And the purpose was to make the SDGs accessible and actionable for young people. In Hungary, Alapértékek non-profit Ltd. Organizes the event series already for 10 years now.
What are the main goals of this project? Do you prioritize some over the other, or are they equally important?
Well, they are all very important. The main goal is again to educate children and young people about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and to inspire them to become active participants in solving global challenges. The project emphasizes creativity and the idea that students can make meaningful contributions by acting locally in support of these global goals and objectives. All the goals, whether ending poverty, fighting climate change, or reducing inequality, are considered equally important in shaping a sustainable future.
This year, which goal are you focusing on?
In 2024, that is this year, the largest lesson is focusing on competence development, mainly on systems thinking in the food industry. Systems thinking means that these 17 goals are interrelated with each other. As the presenter said, it's like a big web, a spider's web that you can touch at any end and the whole web will resonate. And the aim is to teach students how their food choices affect global systems and how they can contribute to sustainable food practices.
Why are these goals important? Why should young people learn about all of these topics?
Well, by learning about these topics early, that is at a young age, young people can develop the skills, the empathy and understanding that is necessary to tackle these challenges. The world's largest lesson aims to empower students to become change makers in their communities.
Can you, and if yes, do you measure the success of the project? Are there any stories or feedbacks that you have got in connection with the program?
Well, since it's the world's largest lesson, of course the aspiration is to be the largest lesson, and so far over 13.8 million children from 160 countries have been involved. That's a huge number, so that's bigger than Hungary itself. Educators often share positive feedback, and the initiative's impact is evident in the number of action projects students have started in support of the SDGs.
And our last question for today, apart from these programs related to the associated schools, what other task does UNESCO need to fulfill in Hungary?
Well, UNESCO in every country that is a member state of UNESCO, that's more than 190 countries, in every country there is a national commission. And we in the Hungarian National Commission for UNESCO, we are the interface between UNESCO headquarters in Paris, the Hungarian government, and civil society and academia. Our objective is to translate UNESCO's ideals into action on the ground with partners. We publish UNESCO documents on our website, we organize events. We also found that a useful way of involving national efforts, coordinating national efforts, has been the anniversaries with which UNESCO is associated, and also international days promoted by UNESCO. Well, you have all heard about the UNESCO Associated Schools project, of which the Báthory is a member. There are altogether 27 member schools in Hungary. Globally, the network connects more than 12,000 schools in 182 countries around a common goal: to build the defense of peace in the minds of young people. This is the first sentence of UNESCO's contribution, that since wars begin in the minds of men and women, it's in the minds of men and women that the defenses of peace must be constructed. And these schools, these UNESCO-associated schools, promote the ideals of UNESCO, such as valuing human rights and dignity, gender equality, social progress, freedom, justice and democracy, respect for diversity and international solidarity. The network operates at international and national levels with three clear priorities. One is education for sustainable development. The largest lesson is also about this. Global citizenship education, and intercultural and heritage learning. And UNESCO is currently working on an online platform that will allow all these 12,000 schools to connect with each other and to devise common projects. But apart from the UNESCO associated schools, UNESCO has other important initiatives and global standards as well. For example, in the field of heritage, you have probably all heard of World Heritage, UNESCO's flagship convention that was adopted in 1972, which has UNESCO World Heritage sites in every country. In Hungary there are 8 of them. But UNESCO is not only, the World Heritage is not only the tangible heritage, there are also the living traditions, the so-called intangible cultural heritage, cultural traditions and expressions. And to safeguard this, 21 years ago, UNESCO adopted a convention called Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. Also, I would like to mention 2 other programs that are not in cultural heritage, but more in natural heritage. When you walk in the natural environment, in nature, hiking, or in national parks, you often come across a sign that says UNESCO Global Geopark, or in Hungarian, UNESCO Globális Geopark. Well, these sites are dedicated to protect geological sites of international significance and to manage these landscapes in a holistic manner. And the other sign that you might come across in Hungary are the biosphere reserves. UNESCO launched its program of Man and the Biosphere in 1970, so even before the World Heritage Program, which aims to show how people can live in the natural environment in balance through sustainable living. So that's briefly about other activities besides UNESCO associated schools.
Thank you very much for participating, and we wish you good luck in achieving these goals.
Thank you very much for the invitation for this interview.